Hi guys, how's it going? I hope you're doing well this evening. I just figured I would live and talk a little bit about policies rather than get too much in the weeds about who we're voting for, because I feel like I've been doing that for the last few days, and we all have our viewpoints on the left, and I mean, there's people on the right, of course, that have their viewpoints, and I think it's important we respect each other regardless of our, you know, viewpoints and our feelings on things, because everyone has a right to vote however they choose. That is clear. And, you know, I want us to all feel comfortable doing so and not feeling like we're being bullied into voting a certain way or out of fear, you know. So, anyway, I put like sort of a poll up for people to rank what they feel is their biggest issues, like from most important to least important. And then I plan to go more into depth, like do research, go into more depth about each policy and talk about it. Maybe talk about ways maybe we can get it done here in the United States. Obviously, ranked choice voting is a huge priority in order to be able to get certain things passed. If we can get that done, then people won't feel like they are always voting out of fear rather than for what they actually want or who they actually want us to represent them. So another thing is obviously, election integrity issues. I really think we need to get back to using a paper ballot or giving a receipt when we vote, so that we know that our vote was tallied the way that we asked it to be tallied, and we can actually check in a database, like like a license you can check or something, where you can see the receipt that this is how you voted. And I'm sure a lot of people feel the same way, because right now it's hard to know for sure, to be honest. Like, you go to the voting booth. There was an electronic screen that I punched in, and then it spit out a receipt. But that receipt then had to go to another machine and be fed. And so in the end, you don't have the receipt. Anyway, so election integrity. Then getting money out of politics is a huge one. Like, if we don't get money out of politics, our politicians don't have to represent us. They just end up representing the people who pay them the most money, right? Their donors. So I really hope that most of us will, vote for people that refuse to take, money from big, big corporations and things of that nature that could corrupt them, could contaminate the way that they represent people. So ranking my, things most important. Medicare for All. For me, that's like, between that and the Green New Deal, there's my two top priorities. That, like, if the politician doesn't support those things, I do not vote for that person. That's it. They didn't earn my vote. For me, it's a no-brainer. Like, why would you support someone who doesn't support your agenda? You're the one that's putting them in office. They're supposed to work for us, not the other way around. They don't demand our votes. They have to earn our votes. And if they didn't earn it, because they're not representing us. That's not my fault. That's their fault. So they need to stop with this voter blaming BS and, Russia gating and all these blame tactics. If you didn't earn my vote, the only person at fault is that person, the person who's supposed to be up there on the stage asking for our votes. So those are my number two, my 1 and 2. Like, they're probably like on the same level for me. And then war. That's a big thing for me. Ending endless wars and nuclear abolition. I support those like completely. The budget, I feel we need to take the budget down so much for war. Like, it's so unnecessary how much we spend on war right now. And we're just basically the bully of all the other countries around the world right now. Like, we have a base in almost every single country. And why? It's not like, it doesn't make any sense, really. I mean, and that's why we're spending so much money. And then we have, we have this nuclear arms race, which, if any one of us uses nuclear weapons, we're all dead. Like, what is the point of making more and more and more and more nuclear weapons? It's nonsensical. Nonsensical. And, that money could be allocated to the Green New Deal, which, unfortunately, people keep spouting out the Green New Deal as if they're actually talking about the Green New Deal. And it's a very watered down version of what the actual Green New Deal is. AOC, unfortunately, I like AOC. Like, I like a lot of things that she says. I think she tries to be on the progressive side, but, she completely watered down the actual Green New Deal. I don't know if it was political or what, but I mean, a lot of people in the Democratic Party have to tend to play politics, and not in a good way for the people. And so there's that. And, the actual Green New Deal, it costs close to $26 trillion. And that's what's necessary to get us to zero emissions by 2030. We have basically between 8 and 10 years to get this right before sea levels rise, ice caps melt, the hurricanes, everything, earthquakes start really getting out of control, where people have to actually migrate. And, so this is a big problem. And, the politicians, unfortunately, most of them, they're just playing lip service right now. And people are still buying it for whatever reason. I don't get it, especially when they're saying up front that they're not getting rid of fracking and, oil and all the other things. They're saying, oh yeah, we have to keep continuing it until we can transition. Okay, well, if that's the case, then you're going to have a plan that's going to be just as advanced as Howie Hawkins' Green New Deal or the Green New Deal from the Greens, because that's what it will take. It's a huge jobs plan too. It's 20 million jobs to get us there that quickly. And so it's going to have to be like the New Deal that happened after World War II in order to get it right. We're going to have to use a huge amount of our resources. But if you understand MMT, you'll understand that that's not an issue. We can get that done, no problem. It's just about, putting our money, our time, our resources in the direction of that mission of the Green New Deal. Then, same thing with Medicare for All. It's cheaper than what we currently pay. And what it does is it nationalizes our medicine. So, basically, we're getting rid of the middleman, all the insurance companies. We're getting rid of it completely. And that's 1/3 of what we spend right now on healthcare. And then we reinvest it back to the people, actually helping the people. No co-pays, no deductibles, all of that gets gutted. So you just, you go in, you might have to pay a little bit more in taxes if you make a certain amount of money, like say the threshold is $300,000, $400,000, that you pay a little bit more. And then people under that, I think, should pay less, or, just about the same if they have a job. And obviously people that aren't working or can't work, they wouldn't have to pay taxes or anything on it. So, but it makes sense. And by the way, taxes don't fund federal spending anyway. It's just a way to make sure, and our resources aren't drained completely. That we have enough people to employ to do the work. We have enough metal, steel, whatever it takes to make what we need to make for those things to happen. So anyway, I also was watching Jimmy Dore, which he's like one of my favorite people to watch today. And it was really interesting because he posted how, a lot of, Black people right now are saying still that neither Trump nor Biden have earned their vote. And to be honest, I was not that surprised, just because I've been hearing a lot of that from a lot of people that I know who feel like, like they're taken for granted, like, just because, that's been like kind of the history for so long in the Democratic Party, that, the Black vote was just taken for granted, that they were just going to vote for, whoever the Democrat was. And I think it's kind of really disturbing that that's the case. And I'm glad that they are speaking up and saying, no, not this time. You either earn my vote or you don't get my vote. I'm sorry. Like that's what I would do. That's what I did do. I said, no, you didn't earn my vote. So sorry. But that should be the case all the time. We should never just give our vote freely to politicians. It's not, if they didn't do anything to earn your vote, why would you do that? That's why, I hope people are voting their conscience. I really do. I hope they're not just voting out of fear that, because let's face it, you go on corporate media all day long, you get fear-mongered too, that Trump is like Mussolini, or Trump is this and Trump is that. But all I see is Trump being a politician, and he was a businessman before that. He was in real estate. And yeah, he's crass. He's loudmouthed. He's not a good person. Like, I don't think he's like this great human being either. But look at Biden, neither is he. They're both like kind of in the same frame for me, like, and I'm sure people are going to disagree with what I have to say about that. But I don't see the big, monster that they think Trump is to be, because he is a human being, first of all. Second of all, he's part of the duopoly. He's part of the same Republican side of it. And Bush, to me, was horrendous. And then I look at Obama, and he was horrendous. Like, warmongers, both of them. Biden is no different. He's going to be a total warmonger. Trump, I'm sure he's behind the scenes doing all kinds of stuff. Like, but to his credit, he hasn't started a new war that I know of. I mean, Iran could have gotten there, but so far it hasn't. And, in the beginning with Syria, like, I was getting worried. But for me, I feel like that's a big, huge thing. Like, seeing if someone's a war hawk, if someone's a real war hawk, you can really see that. But I have to say this, he did spend a lot of money on weapons and war. So Trump is just as bad for me in that sense, because he's putting all this effort towards war and whatever. So who knows? Maybe he's ramping up for next cycle. I have no idea. But and look, at the end of the day, politicians that are in the duopoly, who do they work for? They work for the oligarchs. They don't work for us. They're puppets of the oligarchy. So, you know, especially when money is in politics, they have big billionaire donors. Both Trump and Biden have huge amounts of billionaires funding them. And that's who they are committed to working for. So until we can get money out of politics and actually put people in power that are working for us only, not big money and corporations, then we don't have a real chance of making any changes that I can see. And yes, locally we can get people in office, but I feel like within the duopoly, they just get spit out, especially in the Democratic Party. Progressives that go through there get spit out. I see it over and over again, and I'm sure many other people have seen that. And, in 40 years, it's happened over and over again as well. So I just hope people wake up and see that that's what's actually happening, and that, it's been done so many times. Like, come on, let's stop fooling ourselves that works. And yeah, maybe third parties will never get power. Maybe people are right about that too. But if we don't try to do something different and actually try to get power outside, look at, everyone says Abraham Lincoln was able to do that. He was able to get people to vote third party, so it's not that it's impossible. It's just people have to stop. They have to change their paradigm thinking, their way of thinking, and get outside this two-party system and start thinking that we can have something other than just two parties. Anyway, I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of heat for what I said today. But, come on, wake up, people. Trump, Biden, they're human, but they're both corrupt.